It has been a while, people. Collected edition haul time. But first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Don't know how the sound is. I got a new phone. My microphone I had an adapter to my old phone. Went to make a video and I go, oh, this doesn't fit this phone. So maybe I'll pick up another one. So first collected edition I have to show off is probably the biggest collected edition that you will ever find. It is this 9th generation 256 gig iPad. I figured you can get DC app, the Marvel app, Hoopla, unlimited, almost unlimited amount of content with the price of omnibus and just collecting in general. I have the first volume of the Jason Aaron Thor. I'm not going to get the second one. I know, it's crazy, but it's like 90 some dollars. I paid like $2 something, maybe close to $300 for that iPad. So a third of the cost of, an omnibus, for a third of the cost of for one iPad, and you can, boom, it's on there. You can get it. Obviously there's a fee for the app, but I think in the end, space and value-wise, I think it's going to be hard to beat. Looking forward to that. Also, I have so much, you can't read all this stuff. It's like way too much. I'm looking at the haul that I have, and it's ridiculous, and I haven't even read half of what I already have. Anyway, I figured we'll go through. I didn't know how to show these. You can go by publisher, artist, writer, the creative team behind it. Lots of different ways you can go. I figured I would just go kind of the format of it. So first I have this like really weird kind of, I don't even know what size you would call these. These are standard hardcovers. This is, I don't even know if that's deluxe really. That probably is, but so these are a little bit different. I picked these up for the love of comics. Great YouTube channel has talked about this. Is This Guy For Real? Unbelievable Andy Kaufman book. Has had good things to say about Box Brown. Found this at an Ollie's for $4. I don't know anything about it. Don't really care about Andy Kaufman, but it's one of those. He talks about, he reads a lot of non-superhero comic books. And it's one of those things that transcends. It doesn't matter what it's about. It's just good. It's enjoyable. It's well done. For $4, I figured I'd pick that up. That's from First Second. It's pretty cool. Haven't really read it, much of any of these. Next, I have I did read this one. This is also kind of another smaller format here. This is Miss Tree. This is the first volume. There we go. First volume in this series. I didn't research too much because I never do, but I'm not sure, but it's volume 1. Spit it out, man. But I don't think it's like the beginning of the series. I think that this is after maybe the actual volume 1, but I'm not too sure. But I know that it's volume 1 of what they're putting out through, I think it's Titan. Yeah, through Titan Comics. Has this little hard case crime up there, as does this next one. So this is a standard trade paperback. I read both of these. I really enjoyed this Miss Tree book. It's by Max Allan Collins. He's kind of best known for Road to Perdition, but they were fun. There's a lot of death. They're kind of, not to really be a spoiler alert, but it's kind of, she gets into some trouble and then like, boom, she kills the trouble, and that's how it ends. And you're like, wow, she kills like, 7 people in this? I don't know, and she's a private eye. She's a regular person, and I don't know that you can just go around killing people, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. This was kind of neat. Definitely more on the mature adult side, if you couldn't tell from the cover. Breakneck by that guy. What's his name? Dwayne? Anyway, this is by Titan Comics. They have this hard case crime line. I think these are the only ones I have from it. More are on the way, and it was pretty decent. It was enjoyable. It was kind of breakneck, and it did mean it. Basically, it goes from like not necessarily the world's going to end in X amount of time, but this big event is going to happen, and it's kind of this countdown to that happening. 49 minutes until everybody dies. There you go. But it's not like everyone. I think it's take place in Philadelphia, maybe. So maybe it's just that, and it's complete, so it's a nice little, and it was pretty cheap. List price is $17, so Obviously, it was less than that if you get it from the internet. These next few, I've been looking for these. This is another smaller one. I picked up these, so it's kind of in between a regular trade paperback and this small thing. And it's hardcover. I wanted the hardcover. I didn't know that they were, I got all of them. We'll talk about that in a minute. But these are the Richard Stark's Parker by Darwin Cook, adapted from Richard Stark, which is, I think it was a pen name for, there you go. Okay, we're Donald Westlake. So I think these are pretty well known, highly regarded. You know, there's some Darwin Cook art there. They all kind of have a different colored motif. They've come out with the bougie format, which is the Martini edition, which are, I think, bigger than absolute size, and I don't like that size. I don't like absolute. They're unwieldy. People don't like omnibus, and they're like, hey, let's get something that's even larger. I guess the only thing is they're not as heavy, so there's some cool art. But I didn't know that they weren't, let's just say, regular hardcover size. But there's some Darwin Cook art if you're not familiar with that. Definitely has a retro feel, 60s feel to it, very stylized. I think it's really good. I like crime comics. I think I spent, let's just say, around 50 or so bucks for all of these, whereas one of the Martini editions is $70 some. Having said that, in the second volume of the Martini edition, there are, I don't know how many, there's a story, at least one story, if not a couple, by, I believe, Ed Brubaker, and I don't know if Michael Lark penned it or drew it, but at least by Ed Brubaker, possibly Michael Lark too. And so that story is not in these, but I was still really happy to pick these up. Those are all hardcover. I do have I got all these off of eBay. Where did I get the other ones? It doesn't really matter. Just online. It should say on the listing, and it usually does, X library. So if you see in there, it might say like X lib. So if you're not sure what that is and you're looking on eBay, it just means an X library copy. And I have a couple of these. Yeah, I wish it wasn't like that, but it's not the end of the world. And I really paid like $7, maybe $8 to get it to my house. That's shipped for this, so it didn't really break the bank. They're listed for higher than $7 or $8 on there right now, so you can't really get it for that cheap. So to take a shot on it not being the library, here we go. Sorry about that. The other ones, I think some of them didn't necessarily say or not say X library, so I quote unquote took a shot on that, and it worked out. But for that one, obviously it didn't, so I got the X library version. And I mean, they put like this is on here. There's really no easy way to take this plastic wrap off, and then those are usually like, it's a crazy industrial tape type of thing that keeps these stickers on, and if you took those off, it about really ruins the aesthetic. It'd probably take all the words with it. But so together on the shelf, it's going to be annoying. I think that's the other in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's not ideal, but on the shelf, it's going to look like that. I know, but at least I have it. At least it's there. All right, let's get these out of the way. Kind of go to the next grouping. Hope y'all can hear me all right. This is, yeah, we'll show this one. This is in support of Cartoonist Kayfabe, well-known comic book YouTube channel, where one of the hosts, Jim Rugg, he and another comic creator, Ed Piskor, he'll be up later, spoiler alert, break down comics. They talk about the craft, the industry, and it's pretty informative. If you just like comics, they definitely also like comics, and they work in comics. They've both made it their careers, and to have that insider knowledge of panel layout, artist, like, they know what this kind of thing is called, and you know, they talk about, oh, in the process of making this, it's not always just you draw a thing and there's overlays, and they just kind of get not too crazy in depth, but like fairly in depth to comics. So it's a really neat comic book fan and comic book love and comic book craft channel. Check it out if you haven't. So I kind of got this in support of him because I think they do a really good job. This is Street Angel, Deadliest Girl Alive. Like I said, by Jim Rugg. What does it say? I think there's a cute little blurb that it says about it. I'm not too sure. One thing I thought was kind of interesting is it's rated T and it's for girls and women. So, you know, I guess I can't enjoy it. And also maybe Jim Rugg maybe shouldn't have written it. I'm not sure. Girls and women, isn't that interesting? You know, that might just be the section that it goes in. But, you know, it would kind of be like, oh, well, if you were a young boy, you might be like, I don't know if I want to read that now. But it's called Deadliest Girl. It's pretty cool, right? I think that would be pretty punk rock. Next thing I got, a little upset about this. Tell me if this has happened to you. You set an alert, or you're watching something on eBay, whatever it goes, it's an auction, and it goes by, nobody bids on it, and you go, okay, cool, I'll get it on the next time around. And then the next time around, it gets bid on, and it gets bid up. That's what happened with this. I missed out. I could have got volume 1 and volume 2, which is the complete run of the book, and I think it would have been like 10 something, maybe even $15. Probably would have been 10 something the first time, but then I pushed it up to like 15 and I said, no, I'm out. Anyway, I bought this for $8. This is a hardcover of Zorro from Dynamite, volume 2. Volume 1's kind of, you can find, this is still in stock, but it's like $15 or something. So I got it like half off. It's Matt Wagner. So it should be pretty well done. I think Matt Wagner's held in high regard. I haven't really read much from him, but I flipped through here. I don't love the art. I mean, it seems fine. Nothing wrong with it. I couldn't do it, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little too bright for Zorro, but maybe I'll change my mind when I read it. I don't know. I like Zorro, though. I'm a Zorro fan. At least of the old TV show I was when I was younger. Rewatching it. Well, not rewatching it, but watching it on the reruns. This was cool. I started it. I didn't get a chance to finish it. Life with Two Small Children. Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead. Now this art's fantastic. I thought Eduardo Rizzo, and it's made by Bruce Campbell wrote it. Art was great. The story was like interesting enough. Little shots of some of the art, but I heard good things about it, and I like this sort of thing. So I'm not like a big horror fan. I guess I don't want to go too far in case there's some spoilers on there for people. But look at that. What do I have to say about it? I don't know. I was enjoying it. I just, you know, you walk away from it and then you don't pick it back up, or you go, oh, it's the Halloween season, I'm going to read that. And then you start it and Halloween season comes and goes, and then you just are like, oh, well, I'm on to Christmas season. So anyway, it was pretty cool. What else do we have? Oh, yeah. What are we on next? I didn't even like do a transition proper, though. These are hardcovers, just standard size hardcovers. Have it's not even the most recent anymore, but at one time it was the most recent, newest Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips collab, Night Fever. I don't think that everyone loved it. I think it seemed like maybe a little bit of a departure from what they usually do. Possibly, I don't know. I haven't read it yet, but I've read some Ed Brubaker stuff. I liked it, so figured, you know, get it while it's available. What's just coming out? Where the Body Was. Haven't got a chance to get to World's Finest. I have it up there. Heard good things about it. It's Mark Waid. It's Dan Mora. I just started a Dan Mora book for the first time, and yeah, people are right. His art's really great. People are really enjoying this. People that like new comics. People that hate new comics. It seems, from what I've heard on the interwebs. So it's it's kind of like an in-between. It's more of a matte finish on the paper. I like that. Anyway, heard really good things about that. Picked up volume 2. There's volume 1. This was kind of a cool little add-on I found called 6 Days, The Incredible Story of D-Day's Lost Chapter. This is by Robert Venditti. Thought the art was cool. This was, I think you can still get it. It was like $7 or something like that. $7 to $9. Take a look at some of the art. I don't really know too much about it. It seemingly or evidently is based on a true story of this American platoon unit that's dropped with or eventually come to a town in France where they have to stand against the German soldiers. So I don't know. It seemed cool and a nice hardcover for like $8. I paid up a little bit for this one. We have Garth Ennis, The Complete Battlefields Volume 2. I actually just saw on eBay this went for a little bit cheaper than what I got for it, but from what I did, what I'll do is, it's usually the best if you can, if something is multiple volumes, usually the best bet is to get them all at once. It's not always the case, but sometimes you can piece them together, and what I like to do is try and get the most expensive one for as cheap as I can, and then it seems like most of them are fairly affordable, but like one or two are just stupid, and it seemed like that was the case for this one. It seemed like it at the time, but maybe that's not the case anymore. This is obviously part of Garth Ennis. I wasn't aware has written so much, because you start to look into the thing, and then you're like, oh wow, there's way more than what I thought. He's done so many war books. You think you have a grasp of how many he did, but there's like so many spin-offs in this volume and that volume, and it's kind of impressive. Seems like he really enjoys doing it. So this is Complete Battlefields hardcover from Dynamite. Is that saying the publisher of the other ones? I think DC, Vertigo, for the 6 days. It says on there. Or you can probably tell. Oh, this one, we'll give the people their due. Image for that. I think those are all the Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips are through Image. Obviously DC, Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead, DC Horror. Oh, and then the Zora book was also Dynamite. This is exciting. Anywho, okay, what do we have up next? Up next is my favorite format. We had Darwin Cook before. We have Darwin Cook again. New Frontier. This is my favorite. A lot of times they do nice, complete stories in the deluxe edition. They're kind of, these are really well-regarded, evergreen kind of tales that they want to give a nice preferential treatment to. Haven't read it. Heard good things about it. Excited to read it. Yeah, I'm really excited to jump into that one. Here, we'll show some of this one, and it'll look a lot like Parker, because it's drawn by the same person. He did this one, wrote and drew. So I don't know. Maybe we can see something that's a little interesting. Here's how he does Wonder Woman. So this is about all about the DC characters. Kind of the start of it's kind of a retelling of the Silver Age. How they kind of did a reboot, if you will. Kind of his take on that. Should we keep going with DC? Should we switch it up? Let's just switch it up. We'll do a Marvel book. This is Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil. This is volume 4, To Heaven Through Hell. This is getting an omnibus treatment here pretty soon. Again, I prefer this, so I'm going to stick with this as much as I can. They might be ending this, though. I don't know if this is everything, if you get all 4 of these, if that's the omnibus. Daredevil 31 through 36, and Daredevil Woman Without Fear 1 through 3. So I don't know. And sometimes, honestly, it seems like you get more content if you get the oversized hardcovers than the omnibus. The omnibus will come out and they'll go, well, you're missing some, because it's the whole run. A lot of times they'll do, especially if it's a creator centric omnibus, they'll leave some issues out that were made between 12 and 17, and they'll go, oh well, those weren't written by that creator, so they're gone. This one I'm excited to read too. I'm excited about all these. That's why you get them, right? But I'm excited about this one because you hear about Superman Red Sun and how good it is. And I heard, sorry, but I don't remember who it was, they said, if you've seen the animated one and you think you know the Red Sun story, you don't. So that really piqued my interest because I have seen that and I thought it was really enjoyable and cool. So I'm excited to read the, I guess, actual source material. The DC animation, they're all at least good from the ones that I've seen. Not one of them was bad. They're all good. I'd say that if you have like the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if that's A+ numero uno #1, which it probably is, especially as a whole, really it's just the Avengers, isn't it? You can like your your solo character films, and that's great, but a lot of those, there were some clunkers there along the way, but if you just look at the Avengers, and that's really it. And I think you could maybe do the Avengers without the solo films, do you think? I'm just talking out loud here. Anyway, that doesn't matter, but I was going to say that the DC animation, man, you could put that #1 if you wanted to, but they're all great. Everything I've seen from them is great. This I had in singles, loved it. Mark Waid, JL Year One, JLA Year One. Did I say JL? JLA Year One. I don't know. If you don't know it, it's kind of, it's the beginnings of this JLA. They're always redoing things, and this is an origin story, if you will, of this Justice League. It's well, they're right there on front. Black Canary, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. Kind of much to his chagrin in this one. I think that might be kind of common for him, air breathers probably, surface dwellers. The Flash and Green Lantern. It was very enjoyable. Honestly, it made me cry at the end. I don't know why. You ever, maybe I just cry too much, but sometimes I'll be crying and I'm like, why am I so moved by this? It's very interesting. It's like I'm not even like, I swear I'm not emotional about it, but evidently I am. Oh man. This, I have in singles the whole JLA, Grant Morrison, Frank Whiteley, run of that. I have like 1 through 70 some, but this obviously isn't in there. And to get all of that and the Tower of Babel and, yeah, this anyway, according to at least Nearman Omar's reading order, probably everybody else's too, right? This fits into that Grant Morrison JLA run. So I don't know anything about it. I think that there's like counterparts, right, to Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman in different dimension. I don't know. I don't think that they're the nicest of folk or something like that. Speaking of earlier about Garth Ennis and his predilection to be writing war stories, we have, don't know anything about this. I get my Conan books monthly now from Titan, which they're coming out with a Savage Sword of Conan magazine, so I'm excited about that. Any like singles I pick up, I'll get from DCBS. I have had a pull box from my LCS one time, just because I took a bunch of comics in, I got store credit. I said, hey, let me open this, let me do a pull box because Jason Aaron is doing this new Conan run. Let me get that. They left the book out. I was like, oh, hey, I think that there's a new Conan book coming out. And this is new to me. I've never really had a pull box before. Anyway, they were like, no, that's next week or whatever they said. And anyway, no, I had missed an issue and I had to buy it online, and that's just annoying. So anyway, I just go through DCBS, and to save on shipping, I just go ahead and throw in some cool things that I see as well. Because it's like $7 for shipping. But they are cheaper, the single issues, so I don't know. It's kind of stupid to do, but you guarantee you get it. And you get cool stuff like this. This is Out of the Blue. It's called Out of the Blue graphic novel by Garth Ennis and Keith Burns. It is the complete series. So before, I think it's an oversized hardcover too. So, I don't know. It's my favorite thing. Things are like, they kind of just get you excited. They get you a little for no reason. And these oversized hardcovers, like that's what does it for me. And kind of the slim ones. And when you know, like, this is it, it's complete, you don't need any more. It's exciting to me. So I think I paid, I don't know, $20 some or so for that. So I got that in my DCBS haul at one point. All right, we have a few more. Oh, this has been a haul. If I didn't say, this has been over a long time. This isn't like my 1 month of collecting. So we have a few more. This I was excited to get. This is a Grant Morrison book. It's a Dan Morrow book. 'Tis the Season. This is Klaus. This is big. This is from Boom Studios. They do these like big boxy square. Oh, look at this. I was very excited to see this. It's like the silver foil on the edges because it's Christmas, right? And this is kind of shiny, and I saw that and has a ribbon, and I was like, oh, that's neat. I like it. But so this is a story about Santa Claus. Some Santa Claus you've never known. He has a big sword. That's neat. What's it say? It says the untold story you never heard of, or something like that. And it's the story of Santa. I just read the first issue last night, and I'll plan on, reading one a night. But look at this. Look at that. Even the opening here. Here he comes, getting closer. They're saying stuff. And you get that spread. And that's exciting. That's really cool. I'm looking at it again. So this is some of the art from Dan Mora. And I've heard, good things about it, not great things about it. Other people are like, hey, it's a story. But that's what I like. I like just fun stories. So I'm excited to read that. Let's read this. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about too with with my iPad. I don't necessarily have any real huge desire to read this. I have liked I've read some stuff by John Byrne. I have read the She-Hulk run by John Byrne. I think that might be it. I loved it. I thought it was great. People really like John Byrne. And this I got from Cheap Graphic Novels in their Nick and Dent sale, or Ding and Dent, or whatever you call it. And it looks great. It was $35 for this. Its list price is $125. I think you can get it on eBay for like $50. So 50 some, and there's not real big damage to it. Like, these are a little blunted up there. This is obviously a little opened, but this is the kind of thing that I get trapped in because I'm buying all this physical stuff. Whereas if I know that I have access to this, sorry to wobble you, if I have access to it via my iPad, I'll be like, yeah, you know what, I can just read that on. Because I don't, there's just so much to read. You can't read everything, and you just have to make cutoffs. And I don't even think that this is really regarded as the best or that great of a Fantastic Four run. I think people like Volume 2 better than Volume 1 from what I've heard. But I don't know, and then will I ever get to this? But for $35, I figured it was worth a shot. Oh, boy. Oh, this is a beautiful book. Check this out. This is by the other half of the cartoonist kayfabe. Look at this, Hip Hop Family Tree Omnibus. I don't know anything about hip-hop. That's not Flash Gordon. But look at this. Gold foil on the back. Isn't that exciting? This is another one to support cartoonist kayfabe. This came out. It's a beautiful book. And the size of it, I think it's taller. Where'd that omnibus go? I think it's taller. And a little bit longer. Just a little bit. Can you tell? Oh, you can't really tell. Well, it is. It's a little bit taller and a little bit longer than a regular omnibus. But I got this to support Ed Piskor, cartoonist kayfabe, and again, for the love of comics, this held this in high regard. And it's another one of those where you don't necessarily have to be a fan of hip hop during the 90s, probably late 80s, mid 80s, 90s to Flash Thompson, right? That's it, Flash Thompson? Anyway. But you don't have to be a fan of it to enjoy it. And those are always kind of neat. It sucks you, you're kind of unsuspecting. You don't have any, if you're a big superhero guy and you pick up a book and oh, this is my guy, good luck really enjoying it, because if it doesn't exceed those expectations, you might not. But something unassuming that you're like, man, I don't even know anything about this. People like Dragon Hoops, and they're like, I have no interest in sports. I don't care about sports. Love to Dragon Hoops. I like baseball. I thought Dragon Hoops was fine. It was enjoyable. And these were, I was excited to get. I was excited to get these. I'm a Greg Rucka fan. I haven't read a ton by Greg Rucka. I've read Queen and Country. It's fantastic. I really like that. And I've read whiteout, the whiteout, and it has a really nice compendium. But is that the size that it is? Maybe those are like those smaller ones. They're not quite like trade paperback size. They're a little smaller. Anyway, I think whiteout's like that, and it has the whole complete thing. And fantastic stories. Really enjoyed both of those. What else have I read of Greg Rucka? Maybe some stuff. I don't know off the top of my head. Anyway, I think he's great, and I've heard great things about this. So when these were coming back in print, and they are oversized hardcovers, is that going to become a thing? I swear I didn't mean to. I did it once, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to do that every time. Anyway, I got these. Lazarus. It's a really cool concept, too, I feel like. I think it's going to be really neat. People talk about the world building that goes on in these books. And that's what's so exciting about them. And I know that I like Greg Rucka. He's always writing women. Most of the time it's like women as this leading, like here. Oh, what's her name? I'm going to blank on it. It doesn't really matter. Tara Chase. Or Tara Chase. That's the... And then in Whiteout, that's... Man, I don't remember their names, but they're fantastic. They're really well done. And anyway, I don't know. It's kind of like a shtick he has, I feel like. But these are really well regarded. I'll show you some of the art here. So basically, this is a lot of like, it takes place in a little bit of a, what do you call it? Kind of like a post-apocalyptic-y kind of Hunger Games type of thing, where there's like these families, and they're, you know, they probably, I don't know, probably, right, because I have no idea, but I think that they, you know, they each kind of have their clans essentially, and they're in charge of different areas of the world. This is my understanding, I'm not sure. So there she is dead, right? And like all these families have what's called like their Lazarus. So what happens is then they do that after they were like that. So it's like each family has this Lazarus, and it's all about, you know, family politicking, not family politicking, but like what do you call it, like global politicking, governmental, you know what I'm talking about, trying to get control of stuff. I don't know, don't really know much about it. I think the concept's really cool. I like Greg Rucka, and Michael Lark is good too, right? So yeah, I think that's it. That's quite a bit. I don't even know if I got the haul up here. I don't even think that I could get it in a shot. I'd have to pull back real far. Wait, let's see. Stick around. This is going to be great. You're going to love this. Oh, man. Now they're like out of size order. Anyway, there's like a lot of stuff here. And I got all this stuff. And like, when am I going to read it? I already have so much stuff and I never read it. That's one reason why I stopped buying, like, maybe not stopped buying, but I've really slowed down with buying, I don't want to call them filler issues, but just stuff you can get for kind of cheap, you know, or if you've watched my videos, and I'm excited to have them, I am, but like, you just can't do it for forever. You like turn into one of these guys that I think it's kind of awesome, but, you know, I do think it's awesome. I don't know that I necessarily want to do it when you have 10,000 comic books, or, well, that's probably a small figure, but just boxes upon boxes of comic books, and they're all like 50-cent dollar books. I love it. I think it's great, but if you can do that at a fraction of the price with getting an iPad, I think that's really cool too. So we're always constantly shifting. This is what we got. All that. Pretty cool stuff. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 things. Anywho. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm not collecting as much. More books are on the way.